before we dive into today's episode, there's an elephant in the room.
And it's a very sparkly
It's
elephant.
a very sparkly elephant that's in the room that we have to talk about before we dive into the juicy episode today. You guys,
We're engaged.
Yay! Y'all, look at this thing. You did it, baby.
I know.
We did it.
We
I'm
did it.
so excited. We have had maybe a million camera complications this week, but everything happens for a reason because Nash has been working all week long and I wasn't able to get him to sit down and record
But I'm glad
at all
we could
this
today.
week. Yeah, because you were working so much, but we've got him for this episode and I'm so excited, you guys. So we are going to dive into the whole shebang last
Let's
week.
dive into it.
From like my perspective, Nash's perspective, I asked you guys to ask us questions because I feel like anytime anybody gets proposed, you just want to know the deets.
Yeah, you have to know.
Yeah,
the
I want to
deets.
know. Like, I want to know. I'm like, did he know? Did she know? Did everybody know what's going on? How did it happen? And I know you guys want to know that as well. So you guys will get two different perspectives today.
Yep.
I don't even know where to start. We're just over the moon.
Yeah, no, I think we're still. I don't think we both have processed yet.
No.
I mean, we have, but like, I think we're still like adjusting.
Yeah, we're still adjusting to it, this whole thing. Because it's like, oh my God, what do we do now? We're soaking it in for sure. We're not even thinking about anything, wedding planning yet. We just want to live.
Yeah, we just want to enjoy it
in this moment and enjoy this moment. But I just can't believe it. We're just over the moon. And honestly, before we get into things, we do want to say thank you guys so much for
yes, thank you so much.
The love this past week. I mean,
and the support.
The support, yeah.
It means a lot to Sophia, but it means even more to me because that's my baby.
It means the world to us. Like there's so many pros and cons to sharing your whole life on social media. And I've aired a lot of my dirty secrets out, but I've aired a lot of our dirty laundry out on the internet. And I know it's, hopefully helpful to some of you guys, but it's a lot to share your relationship and share your life online. But when we see support in big moments in our lives, we were so excited to tell you guys and to share it with you guys.
I know that was.
We were like, oh my God, I can't wait to share it with you all and let you guys know that it finally happened. But we just want to say thank you. And you guys are the best. I feel like we just have the best corner of the internet over here.
Absolutely.
So supportive.
We couldn't have asked for a better corner of the internet.
I know. So supportive, so loving. And we just really appreciate you guys. So we wanted to start off with saying that. But okay, let's just get into it.
Yeah.
So I have to say the most asked question was, did I know? Because we were both wearing all white. I was wearing all white. You guys are I know I share a lot of our lives on the internet, but you guys really pick out the smallest details. You guys knew that I wasn't wearing my Amazon rings. You guys, those were some of the first comments I got.
They saw that
they were
right off the bat.
You weren't wearing your Amazon rings. You totally knew. And we're just going to go into, I guess, this whole past week from my perspective first.
Yeah.
And then we can go from your perspective because obviously, the BTS with Nash. So from my perspective, this is what happened. My dad sent a text message in our family group message that Nash is in, and it was the Sunday prior to the Saturday that we got engaged. My dad said, hey guys, I've got one of my good friends owns the distillery. It's a Leaper's Fork distillery in Leaper's Fork, Tennessee, and one of his friends owns it, and he's been wanting to go there for a while.
Forever.
In all fairness, he's been wanting to go and have a family whiskey tasting there.
Yeah.
And it's a whiskey distillery, by the way. And so he texts, he's like, there's a Kentucky Derby party on Saturday, May 4th. He invited us to come and we have a private whiskey tasting there, which you guys, come on. Okay. To anybody that might seem harmless, but to me, I'm an Aquarius. I am who I am. I can't help it. I'm always 10 steps ahead of the game.
And that's why this,
Nash will go into his side of things, but I just was like, that seems a little bit too good to be true. But then I was like, you know what? No, my dad's been wanting to go there for a while, whatever. So right when I got that message, I immediately went onto Abercrombie's website and bought Nash a linen set. He had linen pants on, a white linen shirt and a taupey colored linen pant because I'm like, it's a Kentucky Derby party. We got to dress the part. So I ordered him a linen set. So that's why Nash was wearing what he was wearing. And I ended up ordering 4 dresses from Revolve. And they all ended up coming on Friday and they were all fucking horrible. They were these florally dresses. I tried them on. They were horrible. And so I ended up like having to return them. And this is the day before. And I turned to my sister. I was like, dude, I've got nothing to wear. Like, I don't fucking know what to wear. I'm just going to wear jeans and a bodysuit. Cause at that point I was like totally gaslighting myself into thinking like, it's probably not going to happen. I'm probably silly. Like I got my nails done and everything. Cause I was like, I had like an intuition, but then I'm like, what if I don't, what if it's not happening? So basically my sister, this is why I was wearing that white jumpsuit, which was fucking perfect, by the way.
Perfect. You
But
look so good.
my sister was like, okay, I've got some clothes. And she was so nonchalant about it that she made me think it's not happening. And so she brings down 3 dresses and that white jumpsuit. And she basically like hides this white jumpsuit within the 3 dresses. And she brings down dresses that she knew that I would not fucking wear. I would never wear them. We have very different
Yeah,
styles.
you guys do.
And I was like, I would not wear those dresses. She tends to do like a deep V for these dresses because she's got great boobies, and I do not. I do not. Like, I've never been one to wear like deep V cut stuff at all. So she brings down these dresses that only she would wear. And I think she knew that I would definitely pick out because I'm a jumpsuit girly. And
Mhm.
also with what Nash was wearing, I was like, it's perfect. I'm
Yeah, it
wearing
is.
white. I'm
I
like,
thought we both looked
we're
amazing.
matching. Yeah, we looked amazing. So I'm like, even if it is a Kentucky Derby party, like this is really cute to wear anyways, and it's very comfortable. But then also in the back of my head, I'm like, if this is the moment, this is perfect. Like I
Totally.
would love to wear white getting engaged.
Yeah.
Like
It's
that's
like the best color to
it's the
wear.
best color to
Textbook.
wear. Yeah, right. So that's why I was wearing all white. And that's why Nash's outfit was his outfit. That's why mine was mine.
Because we were
And
dressed to the nines for a Kentucky Derby party.
Kentucky Derby party.
Even
So
though there
that
was
was,
a Kentucky
there
Derby party
was.
happening, but it was a great excuse.
It was a great excuse there. And it was the Kentucky Derby on
It
May
was no, it
4th.
was the Kentucky
So
Derby, yeah.
everything was like, okay, it
And
makes
and it
sense.
and it was also Star Wars Day.
Yes,
It
May the
was also
4th.
Star
May the
Wars Day.
4th
May the
be with
4th,
you
yeah.
from the biggest
And now
Star
we'll
Wars
remember
fan
that forever.
forever. We will never like, well, of course we will. May the 4th will go down in history as like probably one of the best days of our lives besides the day that we get
Mhm.
married and then the day that we have kids and like whatever, all that kind of stuff. But as of right now, that's like been the best day of
Absolutely.
our
It
lives.
was
It
magical.
was magical. So
It was
then
picture perfect.
it was perfect. So long story short, because I mean, honestly, we could talk about this for days and days and
Yeah.
days, but
Mhm.
long story short, I did have an intuition. I was gaslighting myself, but when it was Friday and Cinco de Mayo, May 5th was the next day. So I kept asking Nash during the week. I was like, what are we doing for Cinco de Mayo? What are we doing for Cinco de Mayo? Like, what are we doing this weekend? Like after the party, whatever. And Nash just gave me a look and I just knew. I know this man, you guys. This is my man. Okay. This is my fiance, my future husband. We've been together for 5.5 years. We've been living together for 3. I know this man better than he knows himself. He knows me better than I know myself. So when he gave me a look, he's just like, I've got plans this weekend. I've got like a surprise for, on Sunday. It's going to be fine. Just trust me. Like, I think at that point, like, he's not going to lie. He's not
No,
going to,
no, no, no.
he can't lie because he's
It's really
not
hard
good
to
at
and then
it.
going back I mean, again, I'm gonna get my chance to say my side, but she's an Aquarius, and her mom, dad, and sister and I all agreed that she's really hard to fool.
Yeah, I can't. And
I can't lie to you.
yeah, you cannot. Nobody can lie to me. Like my
No,
mom
you're
says, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. Like you just cannot. And
no.
I did have an intuition. But anyways, Nash gave me a look and he's like, I've got something planned for this weekend and on Sunday for Cinco de Mayo. Just like trust me. And at that point, I was like, okay, I know it is what it is. And
Something's going on.
yeah, and I wanted to turn a blind eye because I'm like, I want him, even though I kind of knew, I want him to still relish in this moment and know that like you did that, and you put
Totally.
this whole thing together and I didn't want to
Mhm.
fucking ruin it or
Mm.
anything. So come Saturday, we wake up in the morning. My sister had left the night before and she slept in my parents' house because she was picking up our friend Taylor, who's the photographer. But she said she was going out to dinner with a friend and then ended up sleeping at my parents' house. So we wake up Saturday morning on May 4th and
Yeah.
it was just
It was a perfect
amazing.
morning.
We slept in, we had a slow morning, we watched some Star Wars stuff.
We got bagels from our favorite bagel
You
store.
went and got bagels from our favorite bagel shop. I cleaned the kitchen,
We ate
and
together at the
yeah, we
table.
ate together at the dinner table, or yeah, at the kitchen table. And I said something. I posted a TikTok. I was like, I like this Saturday.
I
It was
know, that
just,
was so
and
cute.
it was like thunderstorming out too, which Nash and I love storms. We love storms. So the weather was kind of moody
Yeah, it was very
and
vibey for a Saturday
very
morning.
vibey. Yeah. And then I basically went upstairs and I got ready. I did a full 2.5 hour get ready, you guys. I I like rinsed off my tanner. I curled my hair. I put on my Noah Kahn Sad Girl Spotify
Mhm.
playlist. And I knew that I was getting ready to get engaged
Without
without
knowing.
knowing. And I didn't
Yeah.
find anything. I didn't find like a text message. I didn't find the ring. I didn't
Mm-mm.
find like anything that confirmed it. But it's just like my intuition told me, like, you are getting ready to get engaged. And it was so special because I was just like alone by myself. And I just was like listening, and it was thunder and lightning outside. You guys, it was fucking perfect. Like, the mood and the vibes were just like incredible. And I got ready. It was completely alone. And I just was like having a moment to myself before, and I was like, I can't believe this is happening without it, no, without knowing that it was happening. But I had my intuition. We got all ready. We drive there, and from the time that we parked the car to when we walked into the distillery, you proposed within literally 4.5 fucking minutes. Like,
Yeah.
it was
Well, as
so
soon as we
quick.
stepped out of the car, I was like, "I'm gonna throw
Yeah, no, yeah.
up."
Which Nash will go into his side. I know I've been like chatting your guys' ear off. I know you guys want to probably hear Nash's perspective more than mine. But yeah, as soon as we got there, we pull up. My parents are outside, and my parents, I could tell the energy, you guys. And we get there, and there's
Mhm.
tons of fucking cars. And
Yeah.
I was
It's
like,
packed. Leaper's Fork is a very popular
it's a
distillery in
very
Middle
popular
Tennessee.
distillery, and there's all these people in blue shirts, like this chrome blue shirt, and I was like, what is happening? Like, it was a whole to do, and I was like, maybe it's not happening. I'm like, this is like a lot of people and kind of like very public. I would, this is a lot. So we walk in
Mhm.
into the distillery. There was a spot that was roped off that nobody was in, and my dad was like, here, we're gonna do the private showing right now. And I'm like, okay, I haven't even like looked around yet, but they're like shooing us in. We get inside, we're looking at the different, whatever you call them,
Yeah, just like all the
canteens of the
barrels,
barrels or whatever of all the different
yeah.
things. My mom's trying to be like, okay, so and she was acting so weird. She's like, this is where they do, they do the beer first, and and then she walks away, and then Nash comes up and he goes, so what's your favorite part about this place? And I was like, I have been here for 30 fucking seconds. And at that point, I go to walk
I'm
away,
just
and you can,
blacking out.
yeah, I can see in the video too. Like, I go to walk away, and Nash goes, wait, 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 I love you so much. And
Uh,
I just knew it was happening then. And I was like, oh my God, it's happening. And I had my purse in my hand.
yeets her
I
purse.
didn't know what to do. I couldn't think. I started to black out. Instead of putting my purse on my shoulder like any normal person would do, I was like, in the video, you can see I'm like trying to figure out where the fuck to put my purse. So I just toss it to the
I didn't even
side.
see you throw it either, but I
Because
just
we
it
were
was
both blacking out at that
yeah,
point.
I
And
just was like,
then,
"Holy
yeah,
holy
Nash gets
shit."
down on one knee. He says, just whatever you say, because I don't even fucking remember.
No, I
Do
s
you even remember?
well,
Like,
no,
we both
I
blacked out.
remember saying
I kind of remember. It'll come back at some point, but
I only remember saying, "Will you marry me?"
yes. So then he gets down on one knee and he goes, will you marry me? And then I'm like, oh my God, yes. And I see that it is his grandmother's ring, which we will totally dive into the
I
backstory
can't even
behind.
imagine on your side, like, you expecting, like, what the ring to be,
I didn't even
because you
know.
didn't even
Yeah.
know. Because 'cause I'm like, I knew what ring I was giving you, but
Right.
I didn't even think about, like, your perspective, like,
Yeah.
you've talked about how you love that ring, but you talked about how maybe you would want a different
Other
ring too,
rings.
so
Yeah.
I'm
And
just
we'll
like
dive into that
yeah,
too about the whole ring spiel as well. But then I
yeah,
saw that it was his grandmother's ring, and it's just, oh my God, you guys, it's fucking, I could not
gorgeous,
imagine wearing any other ring for
Betsy.
the rest of my life as long as I live. We miss Betsy and Vinny so much, his grandparents, his mom's parents. But yeah, I saw it and I see in the video, I'm like, oh my God, is that your grandmother's ring? And he's like, yes. And I was like, yes, 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 whatever. And then I see my friend Taylor, who's the photographer, who's one of my good friends. I'm like, oh my God, it's Taylor. And then I turn around and it's Nash's
And I go, "Turn
parents.
around," and then my parents are
And his
there.
parents were there. They were like hiding. But I mean, at that point, I didn't see them because my back was turned to them. But yeah, so his
Yeah.
parents surprised us. My parents were there. Taylor was there. And it was just
Mhm.
amazing. Hung out at the distillery, had a surprise engagement party at my parents' home that
Which
night,
was super awesome.
which
Your
was
mom and your dad
amazing.
killed
Yeah.
it, and Chooch obviously killed it.
Yeah. It was
Couldn't have
just
done it without
incredible. And
them.
then hung out Sunday with all of our families together.
Yeah, we had dinner, we did brunch with my parents,
Yeah, and then dinner with
dinner with
everybody,
everybody.
and then, yeah, that kind of, like, wrapped up. His parents left the next
Yeah, my
day,
parents had to go back to
but that kind of
California,
wrapped
but
up the festive. So, long that's kind of the spiel of the
yeah.
proposal. But did I know? Yes and no at the same time. The intuition told me yes, but there wasn't, like, hardcore evidence where I, like, found a text message where his parents were like, "Can't wait to see you tomorrow," or, like,
I
"Tomorrow's a bit," or
know.
anything like that. I didn't find anything. I didn't go sleuthing for it or anything like
No, you
that.
didn't. You
Um
chose I'm proud of you. I mean,
I did turn a blind
yeah,
eye.
you did turn a blind eye. I'm gonna get my chance to talk. I keep
So,
like,
anyways, from Nash's perspective, because you guys asked so many questions. So, starting with the first question that we will ask, one of you guys asked Nash, we want all the deets on the proposal, from getting the beautiful family heirloom to asking Soph's parents and Chooch, of course, and all the fine
oh, this is
details.
funny.
Like, how did you get her to dress so cute and nails did and ready? So, obviously, you guys know the nails and Nash told me about a month and a half ago, he said, or about a month, like right before
Yeah, maybe
Coachella,
for.
he's
Oh
no,
yeah,
hold
yeah.
on. Right before, like, yeah, this is, I'm just so excited, you guys. I'm like, hold on, let me finish my sentence. Because you told me the next time I get my nails done, get what you want. That's all he said. He didn't say get what you would want to get engaged to. He only said it was very like whatever. But he was like, the next time you get your nails done, make sure it's what you want. And then he just walked away. And I was like, oh my god, it's like happening within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Because I'm like, these are only lasting me 2 to 3 weeks. So that made me feel very good because I'm the kind of person, you guys, I'm not a surprise kind of gal. Like
No, you're
I
not.
got to know because I'm already knowing. Like
You're
10,
not.
I'm already 10 steps ahead. So that made me feel very excited and I was able to fully prepare. And then with my dad sending the text message with everything, and these were the wings. These were the
The wing.
nails that I wanted.
Yeah, they look so good.
To get, engaged and everything like that. So anywho, why don't you share your side of the story with when did you initially ask my parents and my dad for his blessing?
Okay, so initially we were still in Nevada,
Mhm.
and I asked your parents almost like a year and a half ago because I thought I wanted to do it in Lake Tahoe, which would have been beautiful.
Mhm.
But I knew we were moving to Tennessee, and I thought it would have been more special to do it in a place where we were gonna be forever. Do you know
Totally.
what I mean? So, I asked your parents, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, that's totally fine." Like, and they obviously said yes, and like, "We love you. You've been so good to Sophia and all this stuff." And I'm like, "Oh my god, I love you guys too." Sorry, guys. Full disclosure, I have allergies, and I'm just getting over it.
If you need to cough, you can cough.
No,
He's been having, like, you guys, allergies in Tennessee are no joke. Like, you warned us all. You warned us all. I've got so many messages where they're like, "Good luck with allergy season." Nash is not doing well. So if you guys have any
I'm
remedies,
almost better, but
like he has been fighting like a little just tickle in his throat cough, but he hasn't been getting sick and it's straight up allergies. So if you guys have any like remedies, Tennesseans, please let us know
mhm.
because my man's is dying
Try,
over
but
here.
I'm so excited to do this podcast because I just want to answer all these questions so badly. But
So
yeah,
you asked for my parents' blessing, and then you also called
and then I also
Chooch.
called Chooch, and then Chooch was crying,
Yeah.
and then everyone said yes, and it was I was very excited because I knew I had the blessing and I knew I had to come up with a plan. And then once we decided we were moving to Tennessee,
Mhm.
I called your mom. I don't
Mhm.
think you know this. I called your mom, and she was like, "Hey," I was like, "Look, I don't think I want to do it in Nevada. I want to do it in Tennessee, like where you guys are close and my parents can come out, all this stuff." And she goes, "Hey, babe, it's okay, your mom. It's okay, babe. We're gonna
Mhm.
do it out here. Just take a breather. Just work until you guys move, and we'll figure it out. We'll come up with a plan when we get here." And I'm so glad that we did that
Yeah.
because I love Tennessee. I love Middle Tennessee. It's beautiful, and
Mhm.
we couldn't have picked a better location for
Yeah.
the engagement.
And it was kind of just a matter, it wasn't a matter of if it was going to happen. I was never sitting here like, I don't know if he's ever going to propose. Like,
Oh yeah,
if
yeah.
is this ever going to happen? It was just a matter of logistically when we felt like it was the right time.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I would say that even like a year ago,
We
we were
weren't
not
ready.
ready.
No.
Even like 9 months ago, we were not ready. And we knew that at that point, we knew we were moving. And
Mhm.
we had many conversations where it was like, we either stay in Nevada and like get engaged and hang out here for a minute, or we pick up our entire fucking lives and move across
And we
country. Cause
wanted to
moving
get out of
is,
Nevada.
yeah, exactly. Like moving is expensive as fuck, right? And it's also exhausting.
Man, it
So,
was so yeah.
mixing that with an engagement would have been, I think we agreed too much. So we've had these conversations multiple times.
Mhm.
So you told me to, and we both agree. Because I asked him, like, okay, well, finally, I would say it was like December of this past year,
Yeah.
like literally this past December.
Mhm.
I told Nash, I was like,
Yeah, you did.
I'm ready to get engaged. And I want to let you know that, like, because it wasn't more of me maybe it was like, cause I know that you were ready. We've both been ready, but not really. Like, we both
Mhm.
talked about it, but I told him in December, I was like, listen, I want to let you know, like, I'm ready. I'm ready to get engaged. Not in this very moment, but soon in 2024, like, I want to have a ring on my finger.
Which is totally fair.
Totally
Totally fair.
fair.
She's
And
not like, "Hey, I wanna get engaged in the next 2 months." So I
to
would've been
yeah,
like,
no,
"Okay,
I
like, yeah,
just said
2024."
in
Yeah.
2024, I wanna get engaged, whatever, and I think you already had you
I
at that
already kinda
point,
knew.
you already had plans in the
Yeah,
works.
no, I did. Yeah,
You
exactly,
already were
yeah.
like, right? Or unless if I'm
No, no, I did have plans, like, where I was gonna do it at the end of 23 maybe,
right.
or 24, and then I talked to your family, and then we were like, "Let's just
Let's
wait
just wait until we
because you guys are coming
move.
out in January, so just do it in 24, we'll
Yeah.
come up with a
So
plan."
I asked Nash, I was like, I just want to know, like, can you give me a ballpark of when it's going to happen? And he told me, he said, within the first 6 months of this
I said
year.
first half of 24.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah. Yeah. He goes, within the first 6 months of this year, first half of 24. Yeah. That's what he
There's
said.
a
And I
snake,
was
it
like,
would have bit us.
perfect. Perfect. That is like, that's all I need to know, right? Because we're obviously moving in January. It'll take us February, March to get settled.
Mhm.
And then that leaves April, May, June, right? And I was like,
Mhm.
that's when I knew. I was like, I know it's going to happen between April and June, which was for my brain, because I can't not know things. That was perfect for me. And then as we
Absolutely.
got closer,
Plus,
you
we
were
love spring.
yeah, we love spring. We love like it just as it got closer, I just knew. I knew it was going to happen,
Mhm.
but I know I'm keep fucking interrupting. Did you want to continue to share your day
Okay, so the day kinda started the day when my parents landed in Nashville, and I was like, "Okay, it's happening because they
on
landed on
and they
Friday.
yeah,
They landed the day before. We got lunch I got lunch with them, and then
which
the
you
next
lied to me about.
yeah, which I was like, "Oh, I'm going to help your dad with some stuff around the house, and then we're gonna go check out a Ravenwood baseball practice." I was at lunch with
My
my
dad
parents, and
coaches high school football and
yeah,
baseball, so
I
I was
was
like,
at lunch with
okay.
my parents in downtown Franklin. But, so the day of, I thought it so woke up, I was immediately like, I had butterflies, like, I was super like, "Oh, okay," like, I was like, "Today's the day," like, it's cool, like, but I did a really good job, in my opinion, of playing it
You
cool.
did.
We had It was almost like we had our perfect picture perfect Saturday morning
Perfect. It was
without even
perfect.
planning it.
Yes.
So, like, we didn't go to the gym, we both took the gym off, and I
Mhm.
was just like, "Let's just chill," and, like, we both slept in, and we ended up getting our favorite bagel spot, like we said,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
was just feeling, "Okay, like, I'm not super nervous yet, but I know once it's time to go, I'm gonna be nervous." And then when Francesca came home, she was like, "Hey, like, I'm gonna go get ready," and then I was like, "Do you have the ring?"
Cuz she had the
And
ring.
she's like, "Yes, calm down, I have the ring." And I'm like, "Okay." And so,
Because she was in California a few months ago and she had picked up
she
the ring from Nash's
from
parents'
my
house
parents'
and
house.
flew back with it. So
Yeah,
she
sh
was the ring
yeah,
bearer.
I couldn't have done this without Chooch. Chooch.
Yeah, we'll give a special shout
Um,
out to my sister for sure.
and so, yeah, and then you were getting ready, and, I played it cool because I had that new linen set you got me, which, for
Yep.
the record, the shirt was white and the pants were actually brown,
They were like yeah, like I said, they
light
were like a
brown.
taupey brown
In the
color. In
pictures,
the
they did
pictures,
look
they look
white,
all
besties,
white.
but they
Yeah.
were brown, and I had brown and white dunks on, which was a sweet ass outfit. And then once we started driving to Leapers Fort,
Well, let's
guy.
talk about when I stepped out in my because
Oh,
not you
yes.
guys, when I showed and I knew, I was like, I felt like it was like a first look because, and I didn't share this, but when I got all done
Oh my
up
god, you
and
looked absolutely
I put my jumpsuit
beautiful.
on Nash and I can hear him walking down the hallway. I was in the bathroom and I kind of was just standing there and he turns around the corner and his eyes, like your eyes just lit up and I don't even
N
remember you were like,
I was
you
like,
look
"You look absolutely beautiful." Like, yeah, I just called you look absolutely beautiful, gorgeous, stunning, absolutely beautiful. Like, I
Yeah,
just thought it
yeah,
was.
and you said you were like, "It's perfect, like,
And,
what
like,
you're
you
wearing
look.
is perfect," and I was
Yes.
just like,
What you look beautiful no matter what, but I couldn't you couldn't have looked more beautiful for that day,
"Oh,
for that
thank you,
event.
baby."
And I was just like, "Oh my god," like, perfect, like, because I just knew you were gonna love how you looked, and, like,
Yes,
because
yeah,
every girl wants to look beautiful when she's gonna get engaged, whether
yeah,
she knows or not, or, like, married, etcetera. So, I thought you looked absolutely perfect, and I went up to Chooch, and I was like, "She looks so good." And she was like, "Oh, I know, she looks beautiful."
oh,
And so I just knew once I saw you, I knew it was gonna be perfect.
yeah, so
Your
then we get there.
and then we get there. We drive through a,
Oh my God.
thunderstorm to get there.
It was actually very low
Um,
visibility. It was a little scary at one
yeah,
point.
lightweight sketch. So then we get there, and because we took a back road, it was the fastest route because it was thunderstorming. And as soon as I didn't, because your mom had taken me to there, but we took a different way.
Yeah.
And then I recognized where we were. We were so close. I was like, oh shit,
Here we are.
shit.
So
I'm
there's
like,
multiple times. So you visited Leapers Fork, the distillery, the
yeah,
place,
your mom took me twice.
twice before.
Yeah, twice before. So, we went when you were in Florida with
Mhm.
Steph and them,
Yeah, a couple weeks
and
or
then
months ago.
a couple months ago, and then I don't know what you were doing and stuff.
Coachella, I think.
Yeah,
Wasn't
you
it? I
no,
was
no,
at
100, yeah, it was
Coachella
Coachella,
and
yep. So
you
you're out of town both times, and then, we went, and then the second time your mom's like, "Okay, like, what do you wanna do?" And I'm like, "Okay, so I think," so she's like, "Okay, I think you should do this,
yeah,
Nash." And I'm
my
like,
mom.
"Okay." And then but she let me put a twist on it, and I thought it was a great idea.
Mhm.
And so, like, it was like we get out of the car and then we walk up, and then your dad's like, "Let's do the tour." And then we're showing us, and your mom's like, "Okay, Nash, so we're gonna go in there,
Yeah.
and then we're just gonna casually walk away. And then Chooch is gonna hand you the ring, and then you fire away."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, cool." So we came up with that plan, and I thought it was a great idea. So when we get there, I'm like running through the plan in my head, and as soon as I step out of the car, I'm having anxiety.
And it's huge. It's not only is it like thunderstorming, it wasn't raining at the time that we got there, but it was what it was it like 85 degrees with like 100% humidity. So we're fucking
Well, it was just
sweating.
super humid because it just
Super
rained.
humid.
It
Yeah.
had just stopped raining. It just stopped raining, and it was hot.
Mhm.
And then we were all like, "Oh, we don't love this." Yeah, and then we just walked in, and like you said, everything just kinda happened, like, so
So
fast.
fast.
And then Chooch was like handed me the ring, and she was like, "Get over here,"
Yeah.
because I
Because
guess
my mom took me and she was talking to me and I don't see Nash. And I think that's when Chooch
yeah, well,
did.
I guess I missed the first handoff. Sorry, Chooch. And then,
I
she
can imagine
and
Chooch
then
was freaking the
no,
fuck
and then I
out.
just turned around and I see Chooch and she's like, "Get over here." And I was like, "Okay, sorry." And then she just kinda like hands off the ring to me, and I put it in my pocket, and luckily I had a long shirt so I could cover
Yeah.
it, and then that's when I was like, "I love you so
Yeah.
much." And then
And then it happened.
here we are
So that's Nash's perspective on the day.
on
Like
the day, but it
you
was a
did
beautiful day.
you did play it so cool though. Like
I
you
thought I
were
did.
you were just amazing,
Thank you.
Like
Well,
everything was perfect. So let's chat about the ring because I know a lot of you guys have questions about the ring. So did you have a ring picked out that you liked and Nash went with the family ring instead? Did you know about the family ring or anticipate wearing it? So here's the spiel on this ring. When I first met Nash's grandparents 5 years ago,
mhm.
the first thing that I noticed about his grandmother was her ring. And I told Nash we weren't even like what a year. We weren't even a year
I
into
don't even think
dating.
we were together for
And
a
I
year.
just had mentioned I was like, "Nash, like your like grandmother's ring is
Beautiful.
beautiful." I'm like, "This is the most stunning ring I've ever seen." You're just straight chilling right
I
now.
am
I love
chilling.
it. So anyways, sorry, I'm getting distracted by my handsome fiance. The first thing that I had noticed was this ring because when you look at older women, grandparents, usually their rings are super vintage, which is such a style and it has a beauty in its own sense because it really shows the time, right? Like when you see grandparents' rings and they're just like old and vintagey, you're like, that was the time. But this ring, I mean, you guys
It
have
looks
seen it.
so
You
good.
guys have seen it. It's the most fucking beautiful. You can't sit here and tell me this is the most beautiful ring you've ever seen in your entire life. Like, obviously, I'm biased, okay? Everyone's individual ring is beautiful. It would have been perfect no matter what. But like seeing 70-year-old woman wearing this ring, I was like, Nash, your grandma's ring is beautiful. I didn't
I
realize
know.
like it's stunning. He's like, yeah, it's like a family heirloom. Like it's really pretty. Obviously, that was a year into us dating. We weren't even close to
Yeah,
like
we weren't
thinking
even
about
like, yeah,
marriage or engagement or anything at that
no,
point. And then his grandparents had passed,
yeah,
and which we missed them so, so much. And his aunt had gotten this ring. So his mom's sister, his grandma left the ring to his aunt. And we had gone ring shopping in March of 2023.
in
So
California.
last year in California. And we shopped around at different rings. We did the whole, which honestly, you guys, we totally suggest go ring shopping
Yeah,
together.
for sure. At least
Together.
do it once.
At least do it once. Like, I don't know why
It
there's
does
this
it can be
whole
casual too.
yeah, and I get if you want to be totally surprised with the ring. I did. 100%, and I understand that. And you want your like every guy or every girl is like, "Oh, I really want my man to like know me that well." And no, like I'm sorry, but
No, I need to
I want to have a voice in what I want, what I'm going to wear on my hand for the rest of my life. And I want to be there. I want to learn about the ring process. Like 100%, you guys should go ring shopping together. We 100% recommend that. So we go ring shopping last year, and we tried on a bunch of different kinds of rings, and I loved what at the time I originally wanted, but it was what I was seeing a lot on social media. And I was like, I think
mhm.
that's what I want because everybody's getting it. And as time kind of passed and I sat on it, I told Nash, I was like, I don't think I want that ring anymore. Like, I don't know if you have the ring. He's like, no. But I was like, I don't want that ring anymore. So
I
I
was like, "Yeah, I
ordered
don't have the ring." No, I'm
yeah,
kidding.
I ordered a bunch of different rings off of Amazon. They were like $5, $10 cheapo rings, and they were different. Like they were oval, they were round, they were emerald, they were radiant cut, all these different kinds of rings, silver band, gold band, white gold, like all these different things. And I tried on a bunch at home. I didn't share this on social media or anything, but we figured out that actually having like a silver ring is what I
Absolutely.
wanted, and I feel
Yeah,
like it's what looked best on my hand as opposed to
absolutely.
a gold band and a radiant cut diamond was what I originally wanted. And I, in all transparency, I posted a video about it in January, but I was seeing it all around social media, either like the thin gold band with the oval or the radiant cut, and it's stunning. It is a stunning ring, and even if you chose that, I would have been just as excited and saying the same thing. But
Totally.
I just told Nash, I was like, I just don't think I'm seeing it everywhere. I think I want something that is more unique. And so
Absolutely.
basically, in December of this past year, when we went and we did Christmas with his family,
Mhm.
his mom had this ring and at the house on purpose, which I didn't know, but she made it seem like it was nonchalant. But she's like, "Oh yeah, we're getting the ring appraised because his grandmother had, passed." And when hopefully, I know, hopefully not, but a lot of people who have had deaths in families, it's a long process. It's not like
Oh, yeah.
it's
It
not
was a
like
long
they,
process on my mom's side and my dad's side.
yeah, because
Yeah.
his grandpa had passed like within a year after his grandmother. So it's a lot of grief that you're dealing with, but there's a lot of like logistics that you
Yeah, and
have to go through and
financials and
financial and all
stuff,
these
yeah.
things that you have to sift through. So
Everybody goes through it,
yeah,
though.
so she was like, "We're getting the ring appraised, but I have it here. Do you want to try it on in December?" And I popped the ring on and I took it, I looked at it very quickly, and it fit almost perfectly. And then I took it off quickly just because I was like, there's so much meaning behind this ring. And I just felt like not uncomfortable, but I felt like I was like, oh my God, this is like, it was just, I don't know. I don't know how to
No, yeah,
describe it.
and it was I didn't know you felt like that until because my mom was like, sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt you,
Yeah, no,
but
go
my
ahead.
mom
I've been
was like,
interrupting
"She
all the
doesn't
preps.
like the ring."
Yeah, because I
And I was
popped
like,
it on and
"Mom."
off so quickly. So it was just like so much. It was
Yeah.
just it was so meaningful. It is such a meaningful ring that I felt almost uncomfortable wearing it. But I after hindsight's 2020, a
Mhm.
few like a month or 2 after, I was like, "Why did she ask me to put the ring on?" I was like, "That was kind of strange," but not really, but because we always try on jewelry together. His mom's always like, "Oh my god, look at this ring I got, like, try it on."
My
So it
mom's a
wasn't
big jewelry
she's
head.
a big jewelry gal, and she's like, "Here, try this on." I've always tried on her rings and jewelry and whatever, and so it wasn't too weird, but then I looked back and I was like, "Why did she have me try the ring on to see if it fit?" Because I think Nash had decided, I told him to, and we
Mhm.
had a discussion. I was like, "I wanna let you know that," because he's the firstborn grandson. And I was like, if for some reason your grandma leaves the ring to you, if you decide that's what you want,
Mhm.
I would be honored. I'd be honored to wear this ring.
Totally.
But also if you wanted to make our own like ring for me or whatever, we had all those Amazon ones that we had tried on together just in the privacy of our own home.
Mhm.
We landed on a ring that if he were to make one, that's ideally kind of the style that I would want. So I was like, you have options. If you wanted to use this family heirloom, I would be honored. But also if you wanted to create your own ring, for me, I would also feel just as honored. Like
Yeah.
whatever you want to do. So at that point, I just left it up to you
Absolutely, yeah.
on what you wanted to do.
Mhm.
And obviously, I feel so honored and blessed to be able to wear this
Yeah.
ring. I mean, what made you decide that this is what you wanted as opposed to going with, a ring that you wanted to make? What made this, decision for you?
Well, so the number one thing is, though, in my opinion, family heirlooms are obviously everyone would agree. I think everyone would agree they're very special. but I felt like it was very appropriate and special to give it to Sophia because she had a relationship with my grandparents
Mhm.
and you knew them
Yeah,
and you had spent multiple holidays with them, like you had been to their house, like we had done a lot of things with them. Like if you didn't have a relationship with them, I don't know if I would like
totally.
it just wouldn't have felt as right to give it
Yeah,
to you, but
yeah,
my grandma loved you and so did
yeah.
my grandpa.
Oh my
But
god, I'm gonna cry.
I
I don't
know.
know why I get
Yeah.
so emotional
I
about
know
this.
they're super special,
Yeah,
but they loved you, and I just thought it would be super special to give it to you, and when the ring was given to my auntie Meredith, I had asked for her blessing. I said, "Hey, auntie," like, and my auntie Meredith is the best.
yeah,
She
she's the
is like another
best.
mom to me. Like,
Mhm.
she has been spoiling me since my brother and I were young boys. Been in my life since I was born.
Yeah,
And I was like, "Hey, auntie," I was like, "Listen," I was like, "with your blessing, I really want to give grandma's ring to Sophia because," and I listed out a bunch of reasons. And my auntie is my mom's little sister. So she was like, "Absolutely, like, let me just sit on it," because her mom had just passed.
yeah,
And
and it's a
so
lot.
it's a
It's a
lot.
lot,
And
yeah, and this is, like, a very special there's a
yeah,
lot of history behind the ring, which we'll dive into in a second, but
yeah.
it's an important thing, you know,
Yeah, it's an
so
important thing, yeah. So, and then after sitting on it for about 3 weeks, she was like, "Hey, listen, like, I think it would be really special if you gave Sophia the ring." And I was like, "Thank you so much. I love you so much." Like, I miss grandma, and she's like, "I miss her too, but I think it would be great to see this ring because every time I see
I
the ring,
know.
I just family,
I
you know what I
know,
mean?
yeah, we just, like,
And I think of
feel
my yeah, I
yeah,
just
his
think of
grandparents.
totally, and I think of and I'm a huge family guy, and you're a huge family gal, so I just think it's ultimately so special 'cause I think of our families, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Because
it's
now
kind of like a
you're
blending of the families with
absolutely
this ring.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's so incredibly special. I can't stop fucking crying, you
I
guys.
know,
Like,
you're so
I'm even
sweet, I
in
love
my
you, baby.
follicular phase. Like, I'm literally ovulating right now. So it's crazy how I'm so
Yeah.
emotional about this. But
No, it is
yeah,
very
it means the world. And I shared it on TikTok and stuff of, the meaning behind this ring. And I just feel so honored because we just
mhm.
had such a close relationship with your grandparents and we miss them a lot, you know?
Yeah, no,
So,
totally.
I need to gather myself, but let's get into
I
the
know, I'm, like,
history.
tearing too, it's
I know,
fine.
it's just like,
Yeah,
ugh, it's hard because I just wish more than anything that we could give them a call and
I
just tell
know.
them, but they're watching over us every day.
Yeah, totally.
So,
Mhm.
let me pull myself together, you guys. Hold, please.
I know, it's
Okay,
always
I
so hard
just had
it's
to take
always
I
yeah.
just had to take a moment. I've
It's
got
so
my
hard talking
tissues
about
here.
them.
It's so hard talking about them. It's so
Yeah,
hard. It's just like, but
yeah.
so the history behind this ring is pretty incredible and I really want to share it with you guys. So the round diamond in the center here has been in the family for
4
close
generations,
to a
close
hundred years. So, and then there's other diamonds within this ring that belonged to Nash's great grandma, and her twin
great-grandma.
sister. So,
Mhm.
this is going to sound kind of complicated, but hopefully I can make this long story short. His mother's grandparents, his mother's grandmother, okay, she had a twin sister, identical twin, and there's diamonds in this ring. Not only is this diamond
It
has this
is
diamond been passed
such a
down, the
beautiful
round
ring.
diamond to Nash's grandmother and then to Nash's aunt. There's other diamonds because there's multiple smaller diamonds within this ring that belong to your great grandmother and her
Yeah.
twin sister.
Mhm.
And they got that from their mother. So it's like I don't even know, it's like a complicated family
But yeah,
tree, but
but I just really it's just
mhm.
it is so special because it's the fusing of the families,
Mhm.
and you are now in that like, maybe our grandson can give that to you know what I mean?
Right,
Like, I'm just
yeah.
saying, like, when we're old and stuff, like, it
Mhm.
can just be passed down, and, like, that would be really special because I love history, and I love my family, and it's
Yeah.
just I love Sophia's family, who is now my family. It's just, like, I love what it symbolizes.
Totally. And it just is stunning. I would not change a thing about it. I mean,
And it's
it's
so sparkly,
overwhelming.
just like my baby.
Yeah. And I think it just like when I look at this ring,
You
it
can't agree that you can't disagree that that doesn't represent Sophia.
thank you. Yeah, sparkly and bright, I
And
guess.
Betsy's always watching, she
And
knows.
yeah, and Betsy, oh my God, we miss them so much. So that's the meaning behind the ring. So did I have an inkling? I knew that it was an option. I mean, honestly, did I
Yeah.
think he was gonna go with it? I really feel like it
Yeah,
was 50-50 because
yeah.
of the go ahead, what
Well,
were
I
you
was
gonna
just gonna
say?
say, I didn't even think of that. What did you think it was gonna be?
I had no idea. I had no which I loved that I had no idea, but I also
Right.
loved that I knew that he knew if he were to make a ring what I would want. And
Ab
I mean, hi, you guys, I really suggest this. If you're man some men can just like pick out a ring and they no matter what ring you get, it's going to be perfect. No matter what, it's going to be super special, it's going to be perfect. They picked it out. There's going to be meaning behind it no matter what. But I wanted to have some kind of say in what I wanted. I think which
boss
is
bitch.
totally fair and totally fine. And also, my man's can he make a ring himself for sure, but does he need guidance? Yeah. So getting a $5-10 ring from Amazon, that's pretty much exactly what you want to hand to him and be like, if you could make this real, whether it's lab grown
The
or a real
dead
diamond or
ass.
whatever, however you want to make it, take this ring and make it real.
Dead
That's kind
ass.
of like what I told him, which I think is totally fine. Like it's totally fine to do that, to have a
I'm a
say,
visual learner.
to give a guidance because I know Nash is a visual learner. Because if I'm like, hey, I want a radiant cut diamond, VS2 clarity G, this kind of, he would not, you guys, he would not know what exactly that
I'd be
means.
like,
No
I
matter
need
how many
help.
times I said that, doesn't mean he doesn't love me. Doesn't mean that he doesn't know what he's doing in life. It just is like he needs a visual learner. So I handed him like a fake ring from Amazon and I'm like, if you could make this real, this is the kind of ring that I would want if you were to make one. But
Mhm.
also, I understand that there is a family heirloom in the picture as well. And I would be more than honored to wear that as well. So I knew the options. We did go ring shopping and we didn't talk about it too much because I didn't want to beat a dead horse and I really wanted to leave it up to you. I
No, for
wanted
sure,
to
and I
leave it up to
appreciate that,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, and give you the full reins on this because I am like the kind of person who just it's hard to slip stuff by me. So I really was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to leave this all to Nash. But that's
Yeah.
kind of the explanation behind the ring. Hopefully, we answered your guys' questions because you guys had a lot of questions about the ring. But
Sorry, that was
um,
just kind of all over the place, but it was
it was all
so
over the place. We are all over the
we are all
place.
over the place
We're
still.
just too excited to
I
be
know.
having anything together
Well, I
right
feel
now.
like because we went out to dinner the other night and
Hmm.
so today's Saturday, so that was Thursday, and that was the first time we both agreed, like, where we could just sit and debrief the
Yeah,
weekend.
because not like Saturday it happened. Sunday we have family all day. We're hanging out with family. Monday Nash is working in the ER now, so he's got 12-hour shifts Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday was Wednesday we were gonna go out, but then there was
And
thunder and lightning storm. There was a
yeah, there
tornado
was a
actually
tornado in Tennessee,
in
yeah.
Tennessee, which it actually was a fatal tornado, and it
W
was
there
so
was one
sad.
fatality in
Yeah.
Columbia,
It's so
Tennessee,
sad.
that's
Like our
yeah.
hearts go out to that family and any families that were affected by that. I mean, it's crazy because it is so close. Like we're used to
Uh-huh.
earthquakes and fires on the West Coast, but I mean, it was really close. So Wednesday was a little bit scary. Like I could not sleep at all at night. It was bad weather all
Yeah,
day, and we were so concerned with that. Then Thursday we went out to dinner and we were able to
and we're
debrief
able to debrief
and be like,
finally.
"Holy fuck, dude, this
I'm like, "Hey,
happened."
so we're engaged."
Hey, sparkly elephant in the room.
No, I know, and then, yeah, what it was just so I just couldn't have asked for a better and my parents were so they were like I'm like, "Hey, I'm proposing to Soph this weekend." They're like, "We just booked our flights. We're out
Yeah.
there."
How did you officially come upon the distillery and when did you have everything booked and figured out? How
Okay,
many months
okay.
in advance?
I probably had everything about 2.5, 3 months in advance.
Okay.
I had Taylor,
Who's the photographer?
who's our friend and our
Which you
photographer.
guys, the photo, I mean, she's fucking incredible.
She's so talented.
She's done everything for us. Like
Yeah.
all of our couples pictures, the boudoir photo shoot I did
Uh-huh.
for me, my two podcast covers. Like she's
Yeah, she's
incredible.
based in Lake Tahoe and
Mhm.
Reno, so her name's Taylor Kern if you need engagement or
I'll actually put her Instagram in the show notes so you guys can send her a DM. I mean, she
she's the
right now
best, and she's so sweet.
is booked and busy, but she's opening up a ton of spots because she's had a recent life change, which has been so good for her.
Yes.
And she is a wedding photographer, engagement. She
Yes.
does like minis, she does like self whatever, anything. So I'll
Yeah.
put her
Holiday pictures, like,
yeah,
whatever,
I'll
spring
put her
pic
stuff
yeah.
in the show notes.
She's great. Your dad and mom and I
Mhm.
were sitting at home when you were gone one of the days or something like that, and we're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, so let's do what about Leaper's Fork and distillery?" Because
Yeah.
your dad's like, "I know the guy who runs it," and I was like, "Okay, cool, like, that could be cool," and your mom's like, "Oh," your mom, she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's Leaper's Fork, it's beautiful," which it is, you should go if you
It
guys
is really pretty.
can go, it's whiskey country,
Yeah,
Tennessee,
a
like,
lot of famous, like, country music artists and a lot of celebrities live out in Leiper's Fork 'cause it's kind of like
it's kinda right near Frank
countryside
yeah.
Tennessee. It's near Franklin. It's close to Nashville still. It wasn't too far, but it's like,
Yeah, it's about 40 minutes
oh
from
my
Nashville,
god, it's
maybe
stunning. So
25
pretty.
miles or so.
Mhm.
But after that, your dad's like, it'll be pretty easy for us to get there, like, I'll ask the owner and all this stuff,"
Mhm.
and then once your mom took me out there, I was like, "Okay, yes, this is perfect," like,
Yeah, because
because
my dad is family friends with the owner,
mhm.
so and he's been wanting us to go out there for a long
Yeah, because her
time.
dad's a big whiskey guy, I like
Yeah.
whiskey too, and their
Mhm.
whiskey is phenomenal.
Yeah.
They have rye whiskey and all this stuff, and
Mhm.
it's phenomenal.
So it was like,
Um
what, 4 or 5
So
months
it
in
was like 4 I
advance?
we actually planned on Libras Fork in, like, January,
It's
end of
crazy.
January. Like, after your birthday, we were like your mom's like, "Let's do Leapers Fork,"
Yeah.
and I was like,
Get it
"Let's
locked
do it."
in. Okay, we're gonna get into a few more questions that you guys asked us in regard to all of the couples out there and talking about this whole thing. How do you talk about getting proposed to? How do you talk about engagement? How do you talk about marriage? Like, what did those conversations look like for us? And I want to read off 3 questions that are all very similar that we are going to answer for you guys today. So the first question is there a perfect time to get engaged? My boyfriend and I know we're going to be together forever and are planning to get married, but feel pressure to have everything else, house, finances, etc., in line first. What do you suggest? Love you so much and are so happy for you and Nash. We love you. The next question is, how did you decide the time was right? Like, what made this point in both of your lives the right moment to take that step? And how did the conversations go? And who initiated the conversations around all the things, the ring, the time, the combo, you know? And then the last one is, my boyfriend and I have been together for almost 5 years, met my freshman year, his sophomore year of college, and we're moving in together in June. We're both so excited. I know we're both young, and personally, I have a couple of career/academic goals I'd like to achieve in the next couple of years, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to have these combos around the long-term shit. Like, he's for sure my forever, and we've had so much growth in our relationship and as individuals, and it's only shown me how sure I am of this feeling. So I guess, is there a too soon to talk about this, and why do I want him to be the person to initiate it? So those are all kind of similar, right?
Yeah.
First question, is there a perfect time to get engaged?
No,
No.
no, not at
There's
all.
not a perfect time to get engaged, but when you do get engaged, it is the
Yeah,
perfect
it is the
time.
perfect time.
Okay? Like, when you're talking about all these different things, I feel like feeling a level of surprise, it's going to be surprising no matter what. Even though
Absolutely.
I kind of had that intuition, I still was so surprised and when I knew it was, like, happening and he started his little spiel and he started to get down on one knee, I was still bawling my fucking eyes out, and
Yeah,
I
you
was like,
were.
"I cannot believe that this is actually happening." So even though I knew it's still gonna be a surprise no matter what, and it's just gonna be like a, "Oh my god," because like Nash said, like, as a little girl, you dream of this day your whole
Absolutely,
life,
yeah.
outside of the wedding day, but you dream of this. You dream of like finding the love of your life and them getting down on one knee, and it still is a surprise. So it's like yes and no. There's no perfect time to get engaged.
Mhm.
There isn't. And
No, there really isn't.
just because you get engaged doesn't mean you have to get married right away. I mean, if you want to, I think it might be super easy to just like pump it out. Not easy, but it might be, nice to pump it out real quick. But I would say that there is not a perfect time, but when you do, it is the
It is a
perfect
perfect
time for
time, yeah.
sure. I think that there's like a pressure to get engaged and to
Yeah,
get
absolutely, yeah.
married, to have a house, to have your finances in order. But if we're speaking specifically in this day and age, so the way that it was back then with our parents was so by the book. It
Yeah,
was point
absolutely.
A to point B to point C to point D, and it was mapped out for you. So as a woman at least, you grow up and then your late teens, early 20s, you get engaged, you get married immediately
Immediately,
after.
like a month
Yeah,
after.
there's no waiting, there's no long proposal. You get married right away and you start having kids. That's kind of like the narrative, right? And for men, it's the same thing. You get a job, you find a wife, you get engaged, you get married, you
You
have
have kids,
kids.
yeah.
And that's how it is. But nowadays, and also it's like you buy a house, you
Yeah.
buy a like you all these different things. That's kind of the stereotypical norm still nowadays, but back then it was so much more simple. But nowadays it's not simple, and we're living in a day and age where things are so different now,
Mhm.
and people are having kids without getting married. People are not wanting to get married ever. People are getting married, like, still young or maybe older, or they're having kids at an older age, or they're not wanting to have kids at all. They're maybe not wanting to buy a home because they just don't want to, or they can't afford it. It's like the day and age that we're living in now. I think we need to get the old narrative out of our heads
Yeah,
at this
absolutely,
point.
yeah.
I think it's still a great way to live your life.
Yeah,
It's nice
absolutely.
how there's still kind of like a map in a sense of like what to do when you grow up.
No, totally, yeah.
But
It's like a baseline.
yeah, it's like a baseline of like how things should look, but
Mhm.
I feel like I think it's just fucking whatever. I mean, everyone's just trying to make it at this point, and I
Yeah,
think your timeline is going to be your timeline, and
no matter what, yeah.
whatever works best for you and your person, because at the end of the day, I mean this in the nicest way possible, no one gives a fuck when you get engaged and when you get married in a sense of timeline wise.
Absolutely, no
When it
one, yeah.
happens, of course, lots of people are given lots of fucks. You'll feel lots of love. People will celebrate you guys and your love as they should. But coming from a timeline standpoint, when you get engaged, no one's sitting there and being like, well, it took them about, this amount of time to get, and I wonder if they're, no one's really caring about that. You're the only person that is like really thinking more about the societal pressures more than anybody. And I
Absolutely,
think
yeah.
just like take that off the table, do whatever is best for you and your partner, and your timeline is your
Your
timeline.
timeline is your timeline, and it's gonna feel the perfect time is gonna be there for you guys,
Mhm.
like, it'll just appear and you guys are gonna know, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, it's gonna even if you guys are 27, it's gonna be at 27. If you guys are 23, it's
totally.
gonna be at 23. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? It's just it's gonna happen when it's gonna happen, it's gonna be perfect for your guys' timeline and relationship.
Yeah, exactly. And having those conversations is important. So, speaking of
Yeah.
conversations, I think my best piece of advice when it comes to if you're wanting to talk about the future, which can be very scary for a lot of people to talk about it in a general way. Okay. So, not instead of being like the what are we question, where it's like,
Yeah.
well,
Brutal.
what's our future looking like? Do you want to get married? Do you want to get, instead of hounding them with those kinds of questions, I think bringing it out and being like, hey, I want to like have like a little deep chat about the future. Like, I want to chat about all different kinds of things. Like, where do you see yourself as an individual in a year to 5 years down the line? Like, where do you see yourself location wise? Do you want to
Mhm.
live wherever you guys are at? Do you want to live here, or do you want to move to a new place? Like, do you want to, have family here? Do you see yourself staying at your job? And then slide in the where do you see us, and how this is going? Like, do you see a proposal in the future? Do you want to
Mhm.
get married? And they're tough conversations, but with the right person, they should be pretty fucking
They should
simple
and exciting.
and exciting. And it can still be stressful and nerve-wracking and sometimes a little awkward to talk about at first, but it still should be exciting for the both of you to talk about these things. And if you talk about them often, that's one thing, but if you don't talk about them that often, I feel like people think that there's something wrong with their relationship if them and their partner doesn't talk about marriage in the future that often. That doesn't mean anything. I mean,
Yeah.
you
No,
don't
it
have to
doesn't.
talk about the future often in order to have a good relationship, but I think talking about it generally and approaching it in a way of like, hey, let's talk about future things, but all future things like work, family, location,
Mhm.
your individual self. Where do you see yourself in the next couple years? And I don't know, as a male perspective, like how would you like to receive? Because essentially, it's up to you to
No,
pop the
totally.
fucking question,
Yeah, I
So,
mean,
how do you feel about like to be approached about that?
yeah, I think being approached about it in a way where letting him your man know that you love him and you
Hmm.
support him and you're super happy, and then you see yourself wanting to take that next step with him, and then asking him, how are you feeling, like how do you feel with work, like do you think that in the next year or so is a good time, or when is a good time for you,
Hmm.
like what are you comfortable with, you know what I mean, like instead of like what Soph said, like what are we, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, like that's just a little more adds more stress to the guy. Yeah, I think just going about it in a way where you love letting him know you love him and support him and that you want to take that next step, and asking him how he feels and where you guys are at on the same timeline.
Yeah, and I think it makes it special. Like, if you're ready right now, because I think the stereotype is like women are usually like ready before the guys are, and like you're sometimes waiting for him to
Well,
pop the
your
question.
frontal lobe is faster.
Our frontal lobe does develop a lot faster than this. But I think expressing to them and being like, listen, like, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I do see my future with you. I see us getting engaged and married and having kids and living this amazing life. And I want to let you know that, like, I am ready for that. And it makes me like so excited to talk about it, but I want you to feel ready for it too. And also, if you guys are not ready at the same time, it doesn't mean that your relationship is not good. It doesn't mean it's going to end. It doesn't mean he's not the right one. Like, we all as individuals are growing at a very different pace than
Mhm.
each other,
Yeah.
and recognizing that, and it's okay. And if you express that you're ready and maybe they aren't ready quite yet, do not get upset about that and
No.
don't get defeated about it, because you want it to be the right time for them, right? Like, you don't want to pressure them into an engagement if they're not ready for it. And just because they're not ready for it doesn't mean they don't love you.
No,
And I think
absolutely not.
recognizing that is important. Can that mean that? Yes. Can that mean a million different things? For sure. But like, we as women tend to overcomplicate things, and it could be a matter of like, maybe they just want a little bit more financial security and a little
Absolutely.
bit more security, because that's a big thing
Which is
as
I
a
mean, it's
man.
fair, yeah.
Well, that's everything as a
Yeah.
man. You
No,
know, you
totally.
guys are the stereotype of like, you guys are the ones bringing in the money. You guys are the ones like getting the house. You guys are the ones doing all this. And it's like, there's a pressure as a man
Mhm.
nowadays. And now more than ever, fucking, it's hard out there
Yeah, it's
financially.
expensive, yeah.
So feeling that pressure, I think, could be a lot
Yeah,
as a man.
100%, and then on top of, if you have a if
Hmm.
a woman who is kind of not being, really not for lack of a better word, like, kinda open and relaxed
Hmm.
about it, like, "Hey, so, like, what are" like, if you
Yeah.
already know your man's stressed, and then you go up to him and you're like, "Hey, like, so I've been waiting for a year to get engaged,"
Yeah.
and you haven't brought it up once to the guy, and the guy's like, "What? Like, we didn't
Yeah.
talk about this."
Yeah.
You know what I
And I
mean?
think having those conversations in a way that's like
Always have a conversation respectfully.
respectful to the both of you,
Yeah,
and
totally.
hear them out, and hear them out, and don't just go running for the hills and being like, "Oh my god, he doesn't want to get like, don't read too far into it." But I think giving general timelines is great. I honestly loved the way that we went about this entire process.
Absolutely, yeah.
It was amazing.
Seamless.
It was seamless. We had multiple conversations about it, but it was
Mhm.
all like very respectful, timeline wise. Like I said, a year ago, we did not see ourselves getting
No.
engaged anytime that soon. Cause I was like,
Yeah,
in the
no.
grand scheme of things, now that we are engaged, when we look back in 20 years, we'll be like, oh, we only got engaged like a year later, which is not that long, but it feels like a long time. A year ago
Yeah,
feels like a long time
now it
ago.
feels like a long time, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, we had those conversations and we gave the general timeline. And I told him, I was like, listen, I think 2024 is the year. I'm feeling ready for it. How are you feeling? And he's like, I feel like, yes, we're moving across the country. And I think that it's going to be, that's the time that I want to do it too. And I said, perfect. And
Yeah,
then I was like, okay, I need a little bit more of a window there. And he's like, within the first 6 months of this year, when he said that at the beginning of the year, we're going to get engaged. And so I was like, perfect. That's all that I needed to know. And I think having those timelines is great.
absolutely,
I think
yeah.
it's great. Like,
I think it's I
I
think
would
it's a
not have
I think it just
changed.
makes things easier and makes things like you guys are more prepared and, it's just exciting. It's an exciting time and it should be fun and
Yeah.
happy. It shouldn't be stressful. I mean, it's gonna be a little stressful, but it
It's going
should
to be
be mostly
stressful, but
fun.
yeah, it should be
Yeah,
mostly fun and a good
absolutely.
experience. Somebody asked things that confirm that you're marrying the right person.
Oh, well, if it's just I already knew. Like if things are just easy and
Hmm.
conversations are easy, you want to do nice things for your person and you want to do things with them, extracurricular activities, you want to spend quality time with them. Basically, like I told Sophia, like I want to do everything for you. I want to spoil you. I want to get you anything you want. I love you. I want to protect you. Like it should just if you have all those overwhelming feelings, then you are marrying the right person.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. And I totally agree. And I say this all the time, but a lot of people are like, "Oh, when you know, and blah blah blah." I mean, I knew that I fell in love with you the night I met you. I
Yeah.
replay that moment in my head. I know the exact moment I fell in love with Nash, the first night that we had our first date, and that's when we
Mhm.
celebrate our anniversary is our first date, because we just have been two peas in a pod since then. Like, we
Absolutely.
didn't really have a period of time where it was like, "Oh, yeah, we're kind of talking, we're on and off." Like, we celebrate our anniversary the first our first date because it was just seamless from there. But it has been fucking simple. Our
So easy.
relationship has not been easy, but it's been simple. And with the right person, your relationship should be simple.
And conversation should be easy.
And that's it. Like, well, and it's just like the way that you handle things should be simple. The way that you go about communicating should be simple. The way that you like go about difficult conversation should be simple, because there's a difference between things being simple and easy. We've had many difficult moments and difficult
Absolutely,
conversations,
absolutely.
but it was very simply handled and it was
Mhm.
very like simple to get through. It's like it,
Absolutely.
and with the right person, it's just fucking simple. And they show up for you when you need it. They support you when you need it. They communicate the way that you ask to be communicated with. And things are not, it's not complicated. Difficult and easy and simple and complicated are two different categories, and relationships should be in the simple category because they can be easy at times, but they can also be difficult. But it should never be complicated to like handle
No,
things.
absolutely not.
It will be difficult, but it shouldn't be
Yeah, if
complicated.
that makes sense.
Hopefully that makes sense. But I know we've been chatting with you guys for a long time. I think it's time for us to wrap up the episode now. It's been a long time. I mean, we can hang out with you guys for hours, but hopefully we answered all of your guys'
Yeah.
questions.
Thank you for all the love and support.
Yeah, I'm so glad that we had all the camera difficulties so we could have Nash on the podcast episode, because this is our
This
moment.
is our moment, and
This
I'm
is our
so glad that
moment.
you loved it, and we love it, and you're beautiful.
Thank you, baby. I love you so much. And
I
we
love you
just,
so much
again,
too.
we really appreciate you guys. We're so glad that
Yes.
we get to share these moments, because it's cool to document these things, because we can just look back when we're old and gray and be like, let's watch this podcast episode of when we got
Yeah,
engaged back in 2024, and it's just like
super cool.
special. We feel
Yeah.
very, very grateful for you guys, and
Mhm.
very blessed. And we so, so greatly appreciate all your guys' love and support. And with that being said,
Thank you, guys.
thank you
Thank you,
guys, and
besties.
we'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.